20,000 people, 18 floors, 85 meters deep. Those are the three numbers every documentary gives you about Derinkuyu. They appear in travel guides, on Wikipedia, and in every YouTube video ever made about this underground city in Turkey. What nobody mentions is where those numbers actually came from. A self-published 1985 guidebook, a tourism brochure, and a 1977 measurement of a ventilation shaft that got rewritten as the city's depth. We traced all three. None of them survive contact with the peer-reviewed record. By the end of this video, you will never hear these numbers the same way again. We have 3 lies to dismantle, plus a discovery story that collapses on contact with primary sources. The real engineering facts are stranger than anything the myths replaced. Let us start with the biggest number, the claim of 20,000 people. Chapter 1. The population that never existed. Type Derinkuyu into any search engine, and the first sentence you read will say it housed 20,000 people. BBC Travel says it. National Geographic references it. Ancient Origins repeats it. Lonely Planet prints it. The number is everywhere. But where did it actually originate? We tracked it back to a single book, Cappadocia, Cradle of History, published in 1985 by a local researcher named Ömer Demir, self-published through Aydan's Turk in Ankara, not peer-reviewed, not affiliated with any university. Demir is also the source of the claim that Derinkuyu's underground cities are over 100,000 years old. That alone should raise questions about his population estimate. From Demir's guidebook, the number migrated into a 1998 Turkish Ministry of Tourism brochure. From the brochure, it entered Wikipedia. From Wikipedia, it entered every travel blog, every documentary, every video on this platform. A chain of copies. Nobody checked the original link. Now here is what the actual scientists say. Professor Ömer Aydan of Tokai University in Japan and Professor Reşat Ulusay of Hacettepe University in Turkey ran the most rigorous geomechanical study of Derinkuyu ever conducted. Their 2013 paper in rock mechanics and rock engineering, funded by a Japanese government Monbusho grant running since 1996, measured stress distributions, rock strength, pillar dimensions, and structural stability across multiple floors. They state no population figure, not 20,000, not 10,000, not any number at all. Roberto Bixio, the Italian speleologist who published the most comprehensive survey of Cappadocian underground structures through Archaeopress in 2012, goes further. He rejects the term underground city entirely. He calls them underground shelters, temporary refuges, not permanent metropolises. And Ali Yamaç, the lead speleologist of the OBRUK Cave Research Group, said it plainly. A comprehensive survey or detailed inventory of underground cities has not been executed in Cappadocia up to now. That is not a fringe opinion. That is the leading Turkish cave surveyor, admitting that nobody has done the basic work to count rooms, measure floor area, or estimate capacity. 20,000 is not a fact. It is a guess from a 1985 guidebook by a man who also believed the cities were older than Homo sapiens. But that is only the first number. The second one is worse. Chapter 2. The depth that was never a depth. 85 meters deep, 18 levels. You have heard both numbers. They always appear together, as if one proves the other. Neither does. The 85-meter figure comes from a 1977 paper by A.K. Erguvanlı and E. Yüzer, presented at a rock storage symposium in Oslo. They measured the lengths of 52 ventilation chimneys cut into the volcanic tuff above Derinkuyu. The longest chimney measured 70 to 85 meters. That is a ventilation diagonal shaft bored through rock for airflow. It is not a walkable floor depth. It is not the distance from the surface to the bottom level. It is a ventilation measurement that got copy-pasted into tourist brochures as the city's depth. The deepest point tourists actually reach is approximately 55 meters. That matches the central well shaft, which is the only vertical structure that has been reliably measured from surface to bottom. And what about the 18 levels? Ali Yamaç says 13 exist, and only 8 have been excavated. Aydan and Ulusay's 2013 instrumentation only reached the 5th and 7th floors because conditions below that point were too unstable for their equipment. A 2023 shape grammar analysis published through Sigradi states openly that the total number of floors and depth is not clear. Even the definition of level depends on who you ask. Erguvanlı counted ventilation segments. OBRUK counts horizontal architectural floors. Tourist brochures count partial mezzanines and crawl spaces. The same structure produces different numbers depending on who is measuring and what they call a floor. And somehow, it gets worse. The claim that Derinkuyu spans 445 square kilometers, which Ancient Origins and ZME Science have both published, is a basic factual error. That is the surface area of Derinkuyu district, the modern Turkish town, not the underground complex. OBRUK's 2014 survey measured the actual underground area at 3,786 square meters. That is not even the largest in Cappadocia. The same survey team measured a site called Mazikoy at 4,453 square meters, meaningfully larger. And in 2015, geophysical scans beneath Nevzahir Castle revealed a structure estimated at 460,000 square meters, potentially 100 times larger than Derinkuyu. So the most famous underground city in the world is not the deepest, not the largest, and not the most explored. It is just the most repeated. If you are watching this and starting to question what else you have been told, you are asking the right question. Take a moment to subscribe, because the next part rewrites the entire discovery story. So the myth says 20,000 people, 18 levels, 85 meters. The peer-reviewed record says no estimate, 13 levels at best, and 55 meters of walkable depth measured from a ventilation shaft. But there is a third claim that every video repeats, and it is the one that falls apart the hardest. Chapter 3. The City That Was Never Lost. Every version of the Derinkuyu story starts the same way. In 1963, a farmer in central Turkey knocked through his basement wall and discovered an underground city that had been hidden for centuries. Some versions add that his chickens kept disappearing into the darkness. It is a perfect story. It is also wrong on almost every count. The farmer is anonymous. No Turkish publication names him. No Turkish archaeological report identifies him. He has no name in any source we could find. The chicken detail did not appear in print until 2022, when BBC Travel published a feature on Derinkuyu. Before that, nothing. Picked it up in 2023. Listverse in 2024. The chickens are a social media embellishment that got laundered into the historical record. And the idea that Derinkuyu was lost or forgotten collapses completely when you read the actual primary sources. In 1916, Cambridge University Press published a book called Modern Greek in Asia Minor by Richard McGillivray Dawkins. On pages 16 and 17, Dawkins documents Cappadocian Greeks using underground refuges during the 1909 Adana massacres. He describes the rolling stone doors. He describes the ventilation. He even records a 14th century account of one of Tamerlane's captains being killed by an arrow shot through the central hole of a rolling stone door. That is 54 years before the supposed 1963 discovery. Go further back. Xenophon's Anabasis, written around 370 BCE, describes Anatolian underground dwellings with entrances like the mouth of a well. That is 2,300 years of documentation. The city was not discovered. It was rediscovered by people who did not read the literature. And while we are dismantling myths, the persecution narrative is wrong by roughly 5 centuries. Every viral video frames Derinkuyu as a refuge for early Christians escaping Roman persecution. The peer-reviewed evidence places the major construction phase in the 7th to 10th centuries CE. Byzantine Christians built these spaces to survive Arab raids on the eastern frontier, not Roman persecution. Lynn Rodley documented this in cave monasteries of Byzantine Cappadocia through Cambridge University Press. The area became an important frontier province during the 7th century when Arab raids on the Byzantine Empire began. No carbon-dated organics from inside Derinkuyu have been published in any peer-reviewed journal. No stratified pottery sequences. No datable inscriptions from the underground levels. The dating is all inferred from regional history and architectural comparison. Roberto Bixio and Andrea De Pascale admitted this directly in Archaeologia Medievale in 2009. A shortage of historical sources and archaeological evidence concerning underground settlements. The supposed an 8 to 9 kilometer tunnel connecting Derinkuyu to Kaymakli has never been walked end to end. Never mapped by ground-penetrating radar. Never confirmed by any published survey. OBRUK's 2014 instrumental survey covered 1,880 meters across 489 stations with a closure error of just 43 centimeters. It identified no tunnel heading toward Kaymakli. Chapter 4. What the real science actually found. Strip away the myths, and the actual engineering is more impressive, not less. Derinkuyu is carved into the Kizilkaya ignimbrite, a volcanic tuff erupted from Mount Erciyes and Mount Hasan between roughly 10 and 2.8 million years ago. Aydan and Ulusay measured its unit weight at 13.78 to 15.7 kilonewtons per cubic meter. That is roughly half the density of limestone. Its compressive strength is often below 1 megapascal. It is classified as moderately weak to very weak by international rock mechanics standards. The viral claim that the tuff hardens on contact with air is folklore. Topal and Doyoran's 1998 paper in Environmental Geology rates the actual durability as poor to very poor. What really happens is modest. Freshly cut tuff strengthens slightly as it dries, and a thin iron oxide and calcium oxide crust forms over decades to centuries through secondary mineral precipitation. There is no rapid air-driven hardening reaction. The stability comes from intelligent room and pillar geometry, joint-aware wall orientation, and the modest stress regime of the soft rock. The claim of 15,000 small ventilation shafts does not exist in academic literature. The verified number is 52 main shafts. Interior temperature holds at 13 to 15 degrees Celsius year-round through natural stack effect convection. But no published computational fluid dynamics study of Derinkuyu's ventilation has ever been conducted. Nobody has modeled it. Nobody has measured the airflow rates. The engineering is remarkable, and it is almost entirely unstudied. The rolling stone doors that every video mentions, estimated at 200 to 500 kilograms, have never been systematically weighed. Nobody has published an engineering inventory. The doors are carved from local tuff, not imported andesite as some videos claim. And the tool marks tell a story that contradicts the popular narrative entirely. Anaïs Lamesa of the French Institute for Anatolian Studies published a toolmark analysis in Anatolia Antiqua in 2020. The principal carving tool was a long-handled iron pick, producing distinctive radial and slanted cutting arcs. Finer chisels were used for corners. That rules out any stone tool or Bronze Age carving narrative. This was Iron Age work, skilled, systematic, and repeated across centuries of expansion. The wine presses that tourist guides point to are partly mislabeled. Derinkuyu sits at roughly 1,300 meters elevation. It is too cold for olives. Any oil press almost certainly produced linseed oil or pekmez, grape molasses. The missionary school with the barrel-vaulted ceiling is an interpretation, not an excavation finding. No inscription, no furniture, no deposit confirms the function. It could equally be a refectory or an assembly hall, and no published catalog of Derinkuyu's Greek inscriptions exists, despite the fact that dedicatory inscriptions are the only reliable dating evidence available for Cappadocian rock-cut architecture. 3 numbers, 20,000, 18, 85. Repeated in every documentary, sourced from a self-published guidebook, an inconsistent floor count, and a ventilation shaft measurement. The real question is not why Derinkuyu exists. The real question is why, after 7 decades of service, nobody bothered to replace the myths with measurements. The answers are down there. They always have been. Somebody just has to check.